There are over 5,000 COVID-19 cases in the state of Louisiana. The coronavirus has been the cause of death for nearly 250 people. But there are people who survived the virus, thanks to the brave medical professionals sacrificing their lives to care for the sick and stop the threat of the coronavirus. Today, you will meet a COVID-19 survivor, Jim Arruebarrena. Welcome, everyone, to the Focus Podcast. I am Singinlisa. So glad to have you back with us. And we've been bringing you important people who have information that's been helping us to learn more about this novel COVID-19. And we have another special guest today. So very happy and grateful to have met this gentleman via the airway. But Mr. Jim Arruebarrena, I think you said is the correct pronunciation.
Yes,
So,
correct.
so glad to have you on the show. And please let everybody know, because by now, most of us are having our own personal COVID stories because we've
hmm
been knowing so many people that have been affected by this virus, which is just running rampant throughout the world. And so we definitely
hmm
want to invite you to share your story and let everyone know how you became a
Pause.
part of this.
You want me to just kind of explain what happened?
Yeah, so give us a little
Yeah,
backstory about
yeah.
yourself.
I'm in my late 60s, and I'm in the high risk group for the disease. I have an obstructive lung problem, and I have a compromised immune system from a stem cell transplant. So it seemed like it was really bad news when I thought I had it. And so on the 15th, I started really quick, very hard fever. It wasn't that bad for me, though. If I have like 99.9, it really hurts me. And it felt like the flu and a cough immediately. And so the next day, on the 16th, it was a Monday, the fever went up to 101.5. And so I went right to the ER at Ashna. You walk into the ER, first thing they do is take your temperature, and then they do the flu test. The regular flu, A and B. If you got the flu, they send you home. If you don't have the flu, they do the COVID test. If you don't have any shortness of breath, they send you home and say, you got to take care of it. Your immune system's got to take care of it on its own. If there's any problem with breathing, come right back.
Hmm.
So that's what happened to me. They made me, because of my background and the way my records look, they came in the ER room and they made me not run, but walk around the bed about 5-6 times just to convince them that I wasn't short of breath, didn't have any shortness of breath. And so because I proved that, I got to go home. Yeah, so I had this, fever every day, for about 10 days. It was really bad at first. The first 5 days, it was, that real hard kind of flu fever. I had the flu last February, and it really hurt more than that, and it lasted longer. And so then, about around the 8th day, the fever started getting lower, and I'd have longer periods during the day without fever. And then about 3 days ago, I think I got all those days right, it went away. It was gone. So
Wow. Well, that's
and then I got the results of the test that next day,
and
and
what
it was positive. It was positive.
it was
so
positive.
so
Okay.
I got the results of the test about 12 days after the test was given to me.
Hmm. So that's important because lots of
Yeah.
people are wanting to know what is the procedure once you do get tested. And for some people, they do get admitted based on the severity of their condition. But for yourself, like many, and because so many are affected, they're being told to go home and take care of things on your own in the sense that the body is designed to recover itself from
Yeah.
viruses because this is how the body is built. So it's a really internal system that does work. And so they wanted you to go ahead and take the same time to heal yourself if that be the
Well, they said
case.
there's nothing they could do to help your immune system. Just go
Absolutely.
rest and stay hydrated. I think maybe now they might have some drugs, but anyway. And as far as the test goes, I think now it's quicker, much quicker
Hmm.
on the
Yeah.
result.
Yeah, well, things have
Yeah.
moved a lot more quickly because people are, the demand is much higher. Obviously, this virus has moved so fast that we're trying to play catch up to at least be able to do what's necessary for people to get tested. And so, being in your condition, yeah, like you said, they were thinking not so good for you, but you've had a different outcome. And I think it's a great testament to be able to let everybody know you can survive
Mhm.
COVID-19 because every circumstance is not the same.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important that you said going home and staying hydrated because so many of the simple and basic tips we've been given are the things that are making the difference, primarily washing your hands.
Yes. Well, I've heard stories of people that are young, that were going down. It doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason really, like they thought. And but I believe it was God. You know.
Yeah.
And all the doctors, all my doctors, my hematologist, my infectious disease doctor, and my niece, who's a doctor, all told me they thought it was a miracle that I didn't get the lung failure, the pulmonary failure.
Yeah, I would
So,
agree. I would agree
and
because
they
it
were
seems
really
as though it
surprised.
happened so
Now I
quickly.
found out they're really surprised. They're waiting for the call. He can't breathe. He's back at the hospital. And now I'm kind of terrified. While it was happening, I wasn't really, I just didn't think I was not going to be able to breathe. But now that it's over and I don't have the fever and I'm cured, then I had to reverse fear. Like I can't believe that almost could have happened. But in a couple of days, I could have been an event that I could never got off of.
Yes, you were
You know?
very, very close to a different outcome and a different result. So I can understand everybody's concern because when we hear what's happening to people, it's so quick, it is so fast, and there almost isn't any
Yeah.
time to try to help yourself because once you're diagnosed or tested or you go into the hospital, it seems inevitable almost that you're not gonna leave out in some cases. So I can understand
Yeah.
that. What was your reaction when well, you didn't know the test results, but what was your reaction when you knew that you had some of the symptoms?
Well, my main doctor, emailed me. He said, based on your negative flu test and all your symptoms, you probably have it. So I was just believing I probably had it, and I was just, trying to make sure that I wasn't experiencing shortness of breath. But I had a little pulse ox device I bought for $45, and the thing that you put your finger in the
Mm,
hospital,
yes, yes.
and about every 4 hours, I just proved to myself that I wasn't having shortness of breath. And then when I started feeling better, like in the morning, sometimes I wouldn't have fever for a couple of hours, and I'd go exercise a little, just try to walk around just to make myself run out of breath to see what was going to
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. I was going to ask that question because in this process of eight or 9 days now, you've had to basically self-medicate yourself or take care of yourself, and as they
Yeah.
instructed you to. So, what are some of the tips that you would give those listening who
Well,
are in the same condition?
the main thing is just having a good stock of Tylenol, and when the fever comes up, take Tylenol. That's about it. And then keep drinking fluids, and then every once in a while, that cough really wasn't terrible, terrible. Last year when I had the regular flu, I had an unbelievable cough. It was terrible. This cough really never developed like that. So I didn't need the cough medicine and all that. They give you that. They send you home with all that.
Oh, okay. They send you home with cough medicine?
Yeah, they got to send you home with something. They
Something.
don't have anything to really give you. Okay, if you
Right.
can breathe, you're going home. That's the way. That's the whole deal. All right.
Yeah.
If you have shortness of breath, it's severe. If you can breathe well, it's moderate.
So it's really a good idea. And it's good
Yeah.
news if you can breathe on. If you get sent home, that's good.
Yeah, it means that they think you can breathe. So you're good.
Right.
And of course, they got that thing on your finger the whole time.
The pulse ox.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yes, monitoring. And so if it should be like 97 or something. If it goes down to 85, you're in trouble.
Yes.
You know.
Yes. Very much so. Well,
But
now go ahead.
go ahead. I just say I'm sort of high. I had a lot of medical experiences with a stem cell transplant and everything.
Okay, say
So
that once again.
I've had a lot of medical experiences. So I have a lot of experience in hospitals, because of my
Yes.
stem cell transplant and all the complications. So
Yes. Well, how was everything for you after the transplant? Because before we knew about COVID, you were recovering from that and
well,
continuing
that
to
was
live your life.
I could go on with miracle stories, unbelievable. But that's another God thing. I mean, but I got it. It was 2008, and I had AML, and actually, it was on a Holy Land trip that I couldn't climb Mount Sinai. I could not get up the mountain. And by then I'd had 4 stints in angioplasty. So I thought I was like having heart problems.
Wow.
And so when I came down, I couldn't get down the mountain, and I was really sick the whole time. Anyway, when I got back, found out that I had to go in for another stint, another more heart pain.
Mm-hmm.
And they were fighting over the platelets. I didn't have enough platelets, and they didn't want to do it. You know, the interventionalists wanted to get on with it, you know.
Right.
And the other doctors were saying, hey, you don't have enough platelets. And so they said, okay, well, you're going to have to go to the hematologist, but we're going to do it anyway. So anyway, so I did that, and the next time we did a test, it was when I came back from Israel, I didn't have enough white cells.
Oh, my goodness.
So that bought me the biopsy. And then that bought me the appointment in the office, not the exam room.
Mm.
You know, where they hand you the letter and say, you have 6 months, you can go to MD Anderson for a stem cell transplant.
Wow.
So you have an out-of-body experience and all that. So there's just, you know, many stories could be told about what happened. I mean, I was totally disabled the first 3 years. And then just all kinds of like rejection disease problems. And that goes on and on. I could tell you, you know, forever stories about it.
Yeah. So did you, in that process, have to learn how to walk again?
Well, yeah, what happens is, and it's better now, but in those days, the only way they could, when you had what's called graft versus host disease, which is the grafts, in this case, my sister's immune system, her stem cells, mm-hmm. versus me, the host. So it's like an autoimmune disease.
Yeah.
Except it's her immune system, not me.
Yeah.
And so that creates all kinds of diseases, various types of diseases. Mm. So usually lots in the lung, a lot of lung problems, and eyes, and takes away your tears. It kills the tear ducts, makes them not produce enough tear. So anyway, about the muscle, they give you tons of prednisone in those days, in 2008. Wow. Like high doses. As soon as it comes up, you get a rash, and they say, oh, you got it. You got the graft versus host disease. So we're going to give you 75 milligrams a day of prednisone. Okay. Now, when you first do that, that's no more powerful fast drug than prednisone. It all down, but the side effects, it depletes your muscles, it makes your bones soft, it gives you diabetes, it thins your skin on your arms and your shins, so subject to skin tears. Mm-hmm. That's nothing compared to all the other stuff. So anyway, when I started, I was 6 feet tall, 230, kind of built like a bear. Mm-hmm. And played college football and all that.
So you were just having a total transformation.
And then by 2009, about 2 years later, I was like 175 and 5'9", because I had the prednisone had given me it prevented the bones from regenerating, and I'm not going to talk about why they didn't figure this out earlier, and so my bones got very soft very quickly. And in 1 month, I had 7 compression fractures and shrunk 3 inches in 1 month, which started another series, a cascade of things. Okay,
just couldn't stay out of the doctor's office, huh?
Yes, and you know, kidney failures because they gave me a drug to treat the osteoporosis, which killed my kidneys.
Oh, I tell you,
those stories like that. Those stories go on and on and on. Okay?
It's the side effects.
My biggest miracle is when I had kidney failure and I had 85% fibrosis from the drugs they gave me. It was acute renal failure, and my wife came in and read me this religious poem. It was a really crazy poem, and right at the end of that poem, this voice I've only heard a couple of times. You know, I always think I'm hearing from God, but in certain ways, you know how you feel like you're hearing something from God. This is a voice I've heard 3 times. He said, your kidneys are coming back because they had failed, and I was full of fluid. You know, I thought I was dying, even though nobody told me I was dying. I never lost faith that we're going to come back. So, and doctors come in. Guess what? God told me my kidneys are coming back. Oh, that's going to be nice. Go there. Yeah, Mr. Arruebarrena, fine. That'll be wonderful. Let us know when that happens. And so then, of course, I got to go into dialysis. I go into dialysis place. I announce to everybody, I'm just visiting. God told me my kidneys are coming back. Same thing. Oh, yeah. Okay. And so about the 10th week of dialysis, they came back.
Incredible. Another great story of
And
miracles.
once again, these doctors were saying it's a miracle. And they just don't say that often, okay? They don't like it. When you
Right.
tell them the God stories, they go, "That's nice. That's about all you
Mm-hmm.
ever get."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We've heard that before.
Yeah, oh, just nice. That's nice. Okay,
Yeah. Well, it's incredible. So today, being a few days beyond the stage where they told you're safe for the most part, where are you in the process? You're waiting to talk to the doctor again to get another
Yeah, I'm going
scan?
to see him, the hematologist, my main doctor, on the 13th, and just going to continue with these blood treatments I get about every couple of months, called
So
IVIG.
you said that Tylenol was your friend. Was there something else you did? You did try to walk to increase your stamina?
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, in a sick sort of way, just to kind of test myself to see if I was in the early stages of um, any breathing problem, any
Yes.
change in my breathing.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like if I just laid on the couch, which is what I like to do when I have fever,
Mm-hmm.
I might have breathing problems and not even know it. Even so I just want to kind of, that's the only thing. But also to build stamina. Every day I could walk a little more. And so it just slowly got better. I mean, actually, I was sick for a month and a half last year when I had the regular flu. But this time it took about 10 days.
Hmm. That's one of the facts that keeps coming up
Yeah.
in the stories about
Yeah.
COVID-19 is that the flu is actually killing more people,
Well,
uh,
yeah.
but we
Yeah.
just don't get this type of reaction like we've been getting in the news. We don't get this type of coverage where
Yeah. It's
we're just
amazing.
aware of it.
I remember reading about the overreactive immune response in regular flu in certain people.
Yes,
Just almost,
absolutely.
I think this might be a little severe, though, in some ways, because of its related to SARS or whatever that means.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
think the intensity and the
Yeah.
speed at which people are getting it
Right.
and being affected by it and even dying is really causing a lot of concern, obviously, and panic in a lot of ways, which is really relatable to pandemic because it is
Right.
literally everywhere, causing everyone to pay attention, and they're having the challenge to try to get the grips on how do we slow this down, how do we stop this, how do we get an antidote? How do we
Right.
get some type of help? So yeah, I believe the flu we're used to because we've passed the pandemic stage of that many years before. But we pray that we get to that point with this where we can one day look back at it and say, do you remember when and where were you when this happened?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's changing. It's going to change the world. It's going to change our economy for the long term. It's going to
Mm-hmm.
change a lot about the government. Who knows who's going to come out on top? If it's going to be socialism or capitalism. But
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
think
So
we'll see.
Yeah, so what do you suggest when it comes to that? You mentioned some great points because our world is not going to be the same once we get past this crisis right now. Life will be different. I think that even in
Mhm.
China, they're very cautiously returning to somewhat of a normal life. They're slowly going back into, the streets and to some areas where they were before. How do you see America or even in your area responding to this change?
Well, I think they're going to have to find a way to fight a pandemic like this. Going to keep happening. That has there's going to be some risk. You can't destroy the economy
Mm.
every couple of years. This is going to come around every couple of years. I think it's going to be a real challenge to try to figure out a way. I don't know if it could ever go back to where it used to be, like we just said. Like, in fact, something like 12,000 people have already died from regular flu this
Yes.
year.
Yes.
Nobody cares.
Right. We
And
don't.
we got a couple of thousand in the whole country. It's like
Yeah.
it's a little crazy. It's a little insane,
Yeah.
sort of.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. It's kind
So
of like.
why can't we just go back to the old days where some weak people and unfortunate people died from the flu? But then they
Mhm.
say it's not the flu. I understand it's crazy. I know it's not the flu.
No,
All right.
definitely not. It's probably a real distant cousin. I don't know, a first cousin, but a lot of
Yeah, I
flu-like
think there's some things
symptoms.
about it
But
that are more severe, but yeah,
mhm,
and I think the death rate is a little higher, according to Dr. Fauci.
yeah,
It's about 1%, where the regular flu is 0.1%.
yes, yes,
So it's
and
10
yeah,
times more than the
right.
regular flu.
Yeah, and this is definitely
Yeah,
not a regular virus. So, I am
right.
so happy to hear your report, to know that you're doing well, and that you have come across the bridge of
Hmm.
fever and all of the other
Hmm.
symptoms that we've been hearing about so much. It really is good to know that you are on the other side of things and positive and feeling good. You look good. And I'm sure that you're going to have a great visit with your doctor, and he's going to have to say again that God did it, right?
Yes, that's the way it's been going all these years.
Well, once again,
All right.
everyone, this is Jim. Tell me your last name again so you can say it.
Arruebarrena.
Arruebarrena. I like that.
Right. All
Well, it's
right.
been a pleasure to speak with you, and we definitely want to follow up and see how you're doing down the line, because I think we'll all be in this situation for a little bit, and it'll be one to remember for the year 2020.
Yes, thank you.
So you take care, and we'll be talking to you
Okay.
soon.
All right. Bye bye.
Okay, bye bye.
Bye bye.
And everyone, let me thank you for tuning in again to the Focus Podcast. I'm Singinlisa. It's been my pleasure to continue bringing you very important information concerning the coronavirus and all that is available for our benefit as we continue to navigate our way through this with vigilance and strength. The hotline number you heard, 504-418-0791, 504-418-0791, is also available in the description area below this podcast. We do encourage you to share this podcast with everyone who can use this valuable information. We can be found on Google, Stitcher, Spotify, Breaker, iTunes, and of course AnchorFM.com. Share it with everyone. I'm Singinlisa. Until next time, stay focused.